Okay, it's been a while since I made a video, but welcome back. This is actually my second channel, and I don't really post much here, and I prefer to play Yu-Gi-Oh! In real life, so I don't really do that much with it. But since they announced the Dark World structure deck in the OCG, I think 1 or 2 days ago, I've always wanted to try something like this out. The new Dark World support looks absolutely insane. But I think we can get there once we explain what Dark Worlds actually do. So Dark Worlds historically were a set of monsters that have very powerful effects when they are discarded. So some of them, like Beige, will activate if they're discarded generically. Most of them have an effect that activates when they're discarded like by you or your opponent, and an even more powerful effect when they're discarded by the opponent. Um, on release, the deck wasn't very good. It basically just relied on your opponent discarding your cards and you summoning Gold, Wu Lord of Dark World, as a kind of trap if your opponent like activates Liquid Duel or something, where he will just drop down and destroy the game basically. If you activate Gold, chances are you're probably gonna win. Back in the day at least. Then, a bit later, they released some support in a structure deck where they gave us Grapha. Where is he? Grapha. Now this kind of pulled the entire Dark World strategy together. He has two of the strongest effects of all the Dark World monsters. When he's discarded, he just destroys an opponent's monster, kind of like Trident, on a mandatory effect. And if he is discarded by an opponent, you can look at your opponent's hand and special summon a monster from their opponent's hand if you hit a monster, kind of like a danger type effect. So once this was out, a lot of people tried experimenting with dangers once these guys came out, like a few years later, and they fit perfectly because dangers have effects that discard a random card in your hand to special summon them out, then you draw one card. It's a perfect way of discarding Dark Worlds and not losing in card advantage. However, this wasn't enough for Dark Worlds to really get any competitive traction. The main reason I think is that they don't really have much of a boss to end on, because all you can go into with are rank 8s, and at the time, well, even currently, the best rank 8 we can really go into is Hope Harbinger. And if you get lucky with your dangers, chances are you might have enough material to make one Apollousa and pass. And obviously that's not very good. Now this new support is actually just insane. The one thing we did get, the big thing at least, was Rainbow, Supreme Overlord of Dark World. So Rainbow, his first effect is similar to Grapha in that if he's in your graveyard, you can just return basically any Dark World except Grapha to your hand to special summon from the graveyard. He is a level 8, which fits with the theme of Grapha and the dangers perfectly for Xyz plays. And he's 3000, which is a gigantic body. And if he's discarded by a card effect, generically, he will allow you to add Grapha basically from your deck to your hand. He can add any level 5 or higher, but Grapha is really the only one that's worth running until something else, which we'll discuss later. And if he's discarded by the opponent, you can special summon a level 4 Dark World from your deck or graveyard. This effect pretty rarely comes up, but it kind of helps with swarming if you can proc it on your turn. Now, how do we proc it on your turn? Grapha, Dragon Overlord of the Dark World. This is the fusion that they came up with, and it has essentially the effect of Dark World Brainwashing, but a lot more viable. It replaces an effect with discard a random card from your opponent's hand. So say your opponent activates like Dark Hole, then you like make that effect using Grapha's effect, change that Dark Hole's effect into your opponent discards a card, which will resolve and force you to discard a card. This allows you to proc the powerful effects of Grapha and Rainbow and any other Dark Worlds that you may be running from your opponent proccing it. Like Grapha, if you do this on your opponent's turn, will destroy a card like Trident and then possibly rip a card out of your opponent's hand. One of the most powerful interactions I think I've seen recently. And he has a nice floating effect too. When he's destroyed, he floats into a Grapha, so chances are you won't just die from him getting ran over, which is very unlikely since he has 3,200. Sadly, he doesn't have any protection, but summoning another one of this guy is extremely easy because we got this, the fusion spell. This is a quick play fusion, so you can pop it on your opponent's turn. That allows you to discard Dark Worlds from your hand or banish dark monsters or whatever you need from your graveyard. The banish effect is very versatile, but you can fire this on your opponent's turn. Say you have 2 Graphas in hand, fire this on your opponent's turn, discard a Grapha, and just pop one of your opponent's cards. Then summon this guy out, who can discard another Grapha to negate something essentially, and then Grapha will destroy and rip a card. Just thinking about it is insane. And of course, this card is insane even when sent to the graveyard, because you can discard a Dark World monster and add it back. Dark World Puppet is a weird card. I don't know what they were thinking when they released it, but it allows you to triple DD Crow. Yeah, that's kind of pretty good. But at the basically at the cost, or rather at the effect, of discarding a Fiend monster. I don't know how many of this card I want to run. Most of the time this card actually was a brick when I was testing, but this has the potential to be extremely powerful. And it might be less bricky in other builds, but I mean, Snow can search this card, so it's not that big of a deal. Because of how easy it is to proc the good effect of Dark Worlds using this new card, I went ahead and revisited the old Dark World cards. The old Rainbow has a Lightning Storm type effect when he is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, which is pretty good. If you like discard Rainbow on your opponent's turn using him, I don't think your opponent can. It's pretty good. Lucent, Nether Lord of Dark World, has an effect to special summon a Fiend monster from your deck to either side of the field. This could be good for swarming, but I think the new Rainbow kind of covers that really well. Silva is the one that I was looking at. So Silva, when he's discarded by opponent's card effect, will special summon and then hand loop 2 cards from their hand. I really want to try somehow like summoning a Silva, or maybe even 2 Silvas if I add in brainwashing, and see what kind of bullshit I can pull off with this, because this looks insane. Next up is Wu Lord. Oh, and a reminder, all of these big Dark Worlds are actually searchable off of Rainbow's discard effect. So these you can like guarantee to see Silva on your opponent's turn. I need to test that. And then, of course, we have Gold, which just destroys 2 cards. Always useful. If you think about it, it's a better Grapha almost. And then Ceruli is another way of proccing Dark World effects from your opponent's side of the field. This, I was thinking, could be combined with new Grapha to proc a lot of weird shit during your opponent's turn. So he might have applications. He might even... With how searchable Silva is, you might even be able to use Ceruli for some kind of insane hand loop that could get extremely degenerate. That's probably the next video I'm going to try to make. Anyways, the extra deck is generic level 8 Xyz monsters so far. I haven't really thought about what type of links I want to put in, but so far, Hope Harbinger and the Cypher Dragons have pulled through. The big card in this is Undead Vampire, because Dark Worlds, once you run out of discards, is basically out of gas. However, you can go into Undead Vampire with the level 8 Dangers or Grapha and try to mill a Dark World Accession, which allows you to continue your Dark World non-once per turn hand loops. And the one Gates of Dark World is here, I guess, kind of because of nostalgia reasons. Anyways, this deck basically has an out to almost anything except unaffected boss monsters. Danger Response Team is a very good piece of removal, and overall, I'm very satisfied with their new support. I think Dark Worlds, this build of Dark World is an extremely fair and competitive and very like recursive and beatdown and sturdy deck that can compete in the modern format. There might be a version involving Silva, Ceruli, and Grapha that allows you to hand loop 6 cards out of your opponent's hand or something by recycling Rainbow. I'm kind of terrified of that, and I really want to make it after this video. Anyways, let's go take a few look at replays that I did. My way of deck testing is I play against a Sword Soul bot because I told the Sword Soul bot as the level that you need to get over in order for your deck to be like rogue / tier 2 status. So if a deck can consistently beat the Sword Soul bot, then there's a chance that it might work. And I don't think I have lost to the Sword Soul bot yet with this deck, so it's pretty good. Let's load up the first replay. So here we're just gonna go through typical looping. Now, I activated the effect of Dark World Dealings to draw and discard Snow. Usually off of Snow, you pick up things like Grapha. Did I pick up Grapha here? No, I picked up Dark World Accession because there's no other way to search Accession. So I need to make sure that I get that card because this is basically the entirety of the deck at this point. We're gonna use Danger Bigfoot for beige. Thunderbird hits Chupacabra, pretty lucky. Now, I don't think I should have made Undead Vampire here, but it's a cute little thing, and it baits out things like Imperm or Ash Blossom, I guess, so it's not bad. But that's just the end of the turn. But it's a like deceptively weak board because Dark World Accession combined with a discard of Grapha is both like a pop as well as a negate in the same card, and then the negate itself becomes a pop after Snow, so you'll see, it's just insane. Here we have typical Sword Soul combos with Ecclesia going to Taya. We're gonna go into Accession here to make the boss monster Grapha to pop the Taya. Vishuda comes out, Link Summon, Vishuda effect. Here, even if so he targeted this, a normal player in real life would probably have targeted the Grapha, in which case I would have popped Grapha's effect to discard Snow and make it, you know, do nothing. But I don't think I will die because this hand is not that powerful from Sword Soul. I might die, but this guy floats, so there's a chance it doesn't. But let's just watch to the end of this replay. Yeah, a normal Sword Soul player here would not have discarded Emergence to activate Longyuan. Instead, they probably would have activated Emergence, searched Moye, normal summoned Moye. Yes, normal summoned Moye, and then activated Moye effect, which I would have to Grapha, and then they can use Longyuan, activate discard Blackout, and then I don't have anything for Longyuan, and they can make Baron de Fleur to pop Grapha, and Grapha floats into normal Grapha, and then he beats over, and there will be a negate on the board. But that doesn't matter because with a Grapha and a beige on the field, and then this type of hand, you can definitely play through one negate. But here we have Blackout destroying the board, which we will stop with this, discarding Rainbow. Rainbow adds Grapha, and then special summons out Snow because of this effect. We're gonna put all the Dark Worlds back into our hand because we have 2 Graphas essentially now. Another Grapha effect pop, and then this is just game. So just looking at this, one can probably already tell it's insane, but that's probably the like weakest of the replays that I have. Here's another duel. Again, the Sword Soul bot is going first. Making Chishao. This is just showing that Sword Soul is probably the easiest deck out there. Like, if a bot can play Sword Soul this well, something's up about this deck. Alright. So we have a typical end board with Chishao and the Cheng Ying. Typically, you know, you'll probably end on Baron de Fleur, but in this case, I don't think it really matters. In fact, I think Cheng Ying was a harder card to deal with for Dark Worlds than Baron de Fleur. So here we go. Because Chi Shao is completely worthless against this deck. Look, it just gets popped immediately. So we're gonna do the danger thing of going through everything. Allure of Darkness, we're gonna banish, we're gonna Dark World dealings. Oh my gosh, the hand loop has started. They ash our snow, which is unfortunate, but we have Bigfoot. Bigfoot gets hit, which does nothing. Thunderbird. Thunderbird gets hit. At this point, I was like, this is some bullshit. But thankfully, we have the new card, Accession. Accession allowed us to discard Beige. So our Alta Cheng Ying is actually our extra deck, which is Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon, which allows us to take control of the Cheng Ying. And I was trying to make it with the dangers, but of course our opponent, being the sniper they are, sniped both Bigfoot and Thunderbird. So now I have to think of a way to loop Grapha essentially. And thankfully we can do that really easily because we have two Graphas in rotation, one in grave, one in hand. So what we do here is just summon the first one, Dark World Accession, and then trigger these effects. Beige will summon out, and then Grappa summons out, we can make it. And this allows us to out the Cheng Ying. And then destroy it with Cypher Blade. Effect. Normal summon Beige, and then go for Grappa. You can probably stick the Adventurers engine in this deck if you want, because clearly I'm not using my normal summon at all for any of these. Actually, the Adventure engine is really good because you can use Journey to discard. That's another thing I need to experiment with now. Yazi, Blackout. We're gonna stop the Blackout with this card effect. Discard Beige. Beige will special summon out. We're just gonna go for another Grapha. Cypher Blade will destroy the Grapha. I'm trying to loop some Accession into my hand by using Beige Grapha. So I get the Accession here. Yazi, I forgot that Yazi has a destroy effect, which allows him to summon Oye, which summons a token. If I normal summon Beige here, I probably had game, but I forgot. Anyway, we're gonna make an Undead Vampire for the lulz of it, and then go next. Here, the Sword Soul player has absolutely no hope left. They can't even activate the Pot of Desires, so it's the end of the game. This card, the once per turn negate, essentially, with a little bit of attack on. It's too good. Here is a classic Dark World OTK, which is what the Dark World deck is known for, going second and killing you out of nowhere. Now this hand does not look very good, but it will soon turn into something of a nightmare. Here we're gonna see some typical Sword Soul plays. Look at this full combo. Moge, Chi Shao, just Sword Soul. Even if it has two imperms. How insane. Cheng Ying. Pot of Desires, Ash Blossom. How many decks can play through Chi Shao, Cheng Ying, Chalice, double impermanence, and an Ash Blossom? How many negates is that? That's one negate, 2, 3, 4, and then one Ash, and then a Banish. Yeah, pretty hard to play through, but not for Dark Worlds, for we are going to go Pot of Desires, which is will get ashed. Pretty good play. That's probably what I would have done too. Allure of Darkness. Draw 2. Response team is going to be our out to the Cheng Ying. So we're going to banish one of the other dangers. I figured Tsuchinoko was our weakest one because I want to continue to activate dangers, and Tsuchinoko just like special summons itself out. Not good enough. This will proc the so we're going to go for Danger Response Team to shuffle back Cheng Ying, and then loop some Danger. Chupacabra again. Nessie discards itself, unfortunate. We're gonna add Thunderbird, because they have 3 face downs. I want to get rid of the face downs. Thunderbird activates, fortunately hitting Rainbow. Rainbow's effect activates, adding Grapha, and we're off to the races. We can now loop Snow repeatedly for infinite advantage. Snow effect, Grapha effect. We're We're gonna get another copy of Rainbow, so we can discard it off of new Grapha, but it's already the end of the game. There were basically no on-field effects that activated. It was all hand and grave. Next up is an insane full combo replay. This is what you can do with a little bit of luck. This previous game, I could have gone for something like this, but it was already game. This is like the full potential of the deck. Of course, we always go second using this deck. This is a Sword Soul. You know, Sword Soul is going full 10E combo and then full Sword Soul combo, so just the best player in the game, I suppose. Chao Fang, Taya. We're going Chishao. Chishao will go into a Long Yuan. Long Yuan effect. Going to Chenging. Very strong board. With a infinite impermanence. So how many decks can play through this? Well, clearly Dark Worlds can. I'll just let it play. I'm not even gonna say anything. This is a thing of beauty. I got lucky with the two dangers. They both hit basically Rainbow. So we're gonna bounce that. Danger response team. I've drawn like 10 cards in the deck. Of course I'm gonna hit one danger response team sometime. Oh, there's the snow. Once you draw snow, the deck all comes together. We can hand loop snow repeatedly forever and ever. Negate Chao Fang's effect, discard Rainbow. Rainbow will special summon another snow. We're gonna make that and then loop that. So what we have here is obviously a full board of high level monsters for the OTK, but we also have a full hand. Accession is another boss monster on your opponent's turn. A danger, which allows us to play even if they had like Nibiru in their hand. We can continue to play because none of these are once per turn except the fusion spell. A snow to hand loop. A full graveyard of Graphas and Rainbows to loop snow repeatedly. We can loop beige as well. A Grapha for discard fodder. Gates Dark World, like it's like I almost didn't even play my turn. I can continue to extend further and like onto infinity with this. Link summons, more summoning of Grapha, more snows, more beige. Did I even use my normal summon in this replay? I don't think so. Anyways, this is Danger Dark Worlds in probably 2023. Absolutely insane. Some thoughts I have. This deck will play through Scythe Lock. This deck somewhat plays through Mystic Mine. You can pop Mystic Mine using Grapha. This deck will play through Skill Drains. It will probably play through Eldritch shit. And with this tool, Dark World Puppet, you can side maybe 2 more copies of this against graveyard-centric decks, like maybe Despia. This deck has the tools to deal with any and all situations, basically. It's kind of like Striker, but not really. The one weakness this deck has is Artifact Lancia. Well, not Lancia. I mean, what's that card called? Dimension Shifter. Yeah. Dimension Shifter is an absolutely crippling card that will completely annihilate the strategy. Yeah, if you can't send anything to graveyard, you'll probably end up just using dangers and then ending on like Hope Harbinger or something. Absolutely nothing you can do. Any other thoughts? Yeah, I'm going to continue to experiment working on this general all-purpose like fair build of the deck. And then I'm going to look towards hand loop versions of the deck with Ceruli and Silva in the future. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and you'll probably see me playing this deck in the future. Goodbye.